this video, I'm gonna share with you a recap of my 9-month muscle building phase that I just finished. And my hope is that you can pick up a couple tips or ideas to use in your own next lean bulk or muscle building phase. And throughout the video, you might hear me call it muscle building phase or a lean bulk. I use them interchangeably. But the main idea of this type of phase is to make progress on building muscle and getting stronger, and do so while limiting as much fat gain as possible, which is why they call it a lean bulk, because you're bulking up trying to gain muscle mass, but trying to keep a relatively lean physique. So I'm gonna show you everything, my metrics as far as how much weight I gained, how much of that was muscle, how much food I was eating from start to finish, and my progress photos as well. So let's dive into the numbers as far as how much weight I actually gained. So I started this lean bulk in July of 2022, right after I competed in a men's physique competition. So at that point, I was obviously extremely lean because I had to compete and look my best. And 9 months ago, I was weighing in right around 146 pounds when I first started this lean bulk. And here are my metrics from July 31st, 2022, pretty much right when I started this muscle building phase. So it shows that I weighed 146.1 pounds, and my scale estimated my muscle mass to be around 121 pounds. And for reference, I'm about 5'9", 5'10". Obviously, I always say that I'm 5'10". So at that point, like I just said, I had just competed in a men's physique competition, and I was really in the first week of doing this reverse diet and starting to build up food for this muscle building phase. And for that first week of my reverse diet, I was eating just about 2,200 calories. And at the time of filming this video, it's May 1st, 2023. Over the last 9 months, me and my coach, Justin, have gradually built up the amount of food that I was eating starting 9 months ago from that 2,200 calories. So gradually adding in 100 calories here, 200 calories there. And this increased food intake is basically to give my body more fuel for my workouts so I can get stronger and perform better, but also to have more resources for my body to recover and to build new muscle tissue. So to build muscle and get stronger, you're gonna be at a massive advantage if you're eating more food as compared to if you're trying to eat lower amounts of food and be very restrictive with your eating. And if you're here watching this video, you probably know that already. But here are my finishing calories that I just stopped eating last week in this lean bulking phase. I was eating about 3,600 calories. And that was broken down into the macros of 445 grams of carbs, 220 grams of protein, and 100 grams of fat. But again, just to be clear, I wasn't eating 3,600 calories the entire time over the last 9 months. I started at 2,200 and gradually we made adjustments over time, eventually building up to 3,600 calories. And in my final week of this lean bulk, I was weighing in right around 161 and 162 pounds. So here are the same metrics pulled from my scale from just a few days ago on April 30th. Sorry, it's actually April 29th of 2023. So as you can see on this particular day, my weight was 162.6 pounds and my scale estimated my muscle mass to be 128 pounds, which is up exactly 7 pounds of muscle mass compared to what my scale estimated it to be 9 months ago before this phase. And I'm up about 15 pounds overall. Now, are these numbers accurate? The truth is, a foot scale is not going to perfectly accurately depict muscle mass lost or gained. So while that 7 pounds of muscle mass gained in 9 months is probably somewhat in line with what is actually true, it's definitely not 100% accurate. I honestly don't think it's crazy to think that I may have gained 9 or 10 or even 11 pounds of muscle over the last 9 months instead of 7. But either way, even if it is only 7 pounds in 9 months, I'm actually very happy with that type of gain. Because as an advanced lifter who's been training for over a decade, you can't really expect to gain much more than that naturally, especially as someone who's already put on 20 to 30 pounds of muscle mass over my lifetime. Recent studies show that most men can add between 20 and 30 pounds of muscle over the course of their life naturally. So I'm actually very close to that number if that's a pretty accurate study. And honestly, gaining 1 pound of muscle per month at this point in my fitness journey would be a really big win. Now, let me be clear, because that may sound a little bit disappointing. If you're newer to this, if you're in your first 2 years of tracking your macros or working with a coach or simply just following a structured workout program, you can gain in a lot more muscle than I can. Newbie gains is definitely a real thing. And if you get things very right with your nutrition and with your training and you work with a coach, it's definitely realistic to think if you're in your first 1 or 2 years of doing this, that you could gain anywhere from 12 to even 20 pounds of muscle in a full year. But again, I've done this so many times myself that I was only aiming to gain about 1 pound of muscle per month. And I ended up being pretty in line with doing that. 7 or 8 pounds of muscle gain in 9 months, pretty solid. Now here is the progress photo comparison from when I first started this phase. That's the photo on the left where I'm really lean and shredded. That's right after I competed in my men's physique competition, like a week after, which is why I'm still kind of tan in that photo. But I clearly have more tightness and definition in my core on the left photo. And the photo on the right is one of my most recent progress photos where I'm weighing around 161, 162. Obviously, I have less definition and tightness in my core. I'm not as shredded. But if you look closely at my delts and my chest even and my traps, I definitely have some more size and development. And it may not even be obvious in a shirtless photo like this, but when I'm wearing my clothes, it definitely makes a difference. I fill out my shirts and my tank tops and my long sleeves way more, and I definitely feel the tightness in the right areas compared to when I was really lean. And you obviously can't see my legs or my back in these photos, but those are both areas that I feel like I made a lot of progress over the last 9 months as well. And I'd like to think that I stayed around 15% body fat, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, maybe I'm 17% body fat, or maybe I'm 13 or 14%. But that was part of my goal, even at my heaviest weight, to still be around 15% body fat or so. Definitely staying under 20% was a big part of my goal. I went to Miami 2 weeks ago, and I have to say that I was really happy with the way I was looking, even on the beach with my shirt off, even at a heavier weight. And I still do very much like how I'm looking when I'm training in the gym, whether I'm wearing a tank top or a t-shirt. I feel pretty good overall. And it's mainly just when my shirt is off that I really notice less definition in my core. But to be fair, that's the trade-off that you make and that you sign up for when you decide to do a lean bulking phase, is that you're gonna be a little bit less shredded, less defined in your core, but you're gonna be able to make progress and build muscle in other areas of your body so that the next time you do a fat loss phase, you have some more muscle mass there and you actually look better in future fat loss phases because of the work that you put in during the muscle building phase. So how much should you actually aim to gain if you're also trying to build muscle, but you wanna make sure that you're limiting fat gain to as minimal as you can? I generally recommend to clients who are in a lean bulking phase to try to aim for a rate of gaining between 1 and 2 pounds per month for optimal results in regards to building muscle while keeping fat gain very low. And this very slow rate of gain, 1 to 2 pounds a month, will give you the best possible chance at having that weight that you are gaining be mostly muscle mass. But of course, you need to be very diligent with tracking your macros, eating plenty of protein, training really hard, of course. And you also need to be very diligent and on top of tracking your weekly average weight. If we're aiming to gain only 1 or 2 pounds in the entire month, that means that each week you're gaining at a rate of like 1/4 pound a week, or maybe 1/2 pound a week at most. So you really need to know what you're doing and be tracking your weekly average weight very diligently, or having your coach monitor it for you, because this is the type of thing that could very easily turn into a dirty bulk where you gain a lot more fat than actual muscle. And when it comes to your workouts, you're really going to want to focus on logging your workouts, what weight you're using for each exercise, how many reps you were able to get, how many sets you're doing, because logging your workouts is gonna allow you to be more actively trying to make progress each time you go in the gym, because you're gonna see what you did last time and you're gonna want to try to beat that and continuously try to progressively overload the exercises and movements that you're doing. Because I'll tell you this, if you're doing a lean bulking phase and you're increasing food over 6 months or 12 months and you're not getting any stronger, or you're doing the same exact weight and reps than you were doing 6 months ago, that's not gonna be a good indication that you're building a ton of muscle mass. And it's gonna be really important to pay attention to some of these key things, because you could still easily gain 1 or 2 pounds per month and have it be body fat instead of muscle mass. So if there's one thing that is most important, I would say specifically being very diligent and consistent with hitting your macros and not having to estimate the macros of the meals that you're eating too often. And if you'd like my help to effectively add muscle mass without adding a bunch of body fat along the way, feel free to apply for my Modern Man coaching program down below in the description of this video. Because I've done this so many times myself, and I've done it dozens and dozens of times with clients over the years as well, to successfully build muscle and build the physique that they're going for. Guys of all ages, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and even beyond that. So if maybe it's your first or second time and you really want proper guidance step by step to do it the right way, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be happy to see if I can potentially help you. But I really hope you found this video helpful, even if it was just one small way that you picked up a tip or an idea. And if you did, then consider subscribing to my channel, because I make new videos just like this every single week. And I will see you on the next video.